Welcome to Nerds Against Normality, the podcast where we respawn every week with fresh takes and occasionally roll for initiative before recording. I'm Harry Bowles, your host and someone who thinks life's a bit like Street Fighter 2. All flailing, no combos, and occasionally yelling Sonic Boom in public for no reason. With me is my wife Stacey, basically the Daisy from space with this operation. Always 2 steps ahead, whilst I'm still quoting Star Wars like it's 2002.
I wish you'd stop that.
Now, we are normally joined by Ben Sheridan, but he is currently off on a side quest, possibly trapped in a cutscene or arguing with an NPC about aspect ratio. So, stepping in is our guest, Davey, a man who balances being a dad with the energy of Batman, tired and intense. He doesn't sleep much, but when he does, it's upside down in a cave of nerdy opinions.
I could not agree more. Hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me join you. What a pleasure to be here.
Just to warn our listeners, the podcast that will contain heavy amounts of swearing and the occasional bullying of Ben, even when he's not here. As always, if you haven't already, you can catch us on all the social medias. Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, yada, 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 so you'll be able to keep up to date with all our releases. Before we get into this week's episode, as I said, Ben can't be with us, but he did leave us a little recording. Could you please play that for us, Stacey?
Hi guys, Ben here, obviously from Nerds Against Normality. What? Yeah. Let's put about a 50 on that and let's get a sky crane in. Fantastic, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm just kind of on set at the moment, kind of a big deal. Today I'm just doing the whole directing.
Ben,
yeah?
where's my goddamn latte?
Oh, coming, sir. Right, so sorry guys, I've got to go, sir. Shit.
I hope he got his latte.
A man cannot function without his latte, really. It's nice to hear his dulcet tones, it really is.
Yes. Okay, so welcome, Davey. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us what you're about, what you're doing.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. This is a real honour. Before we even started chatting, I say off camera, but it was on camera, folks. I was explaining how nervous I was and admitted a little bit starstruck because when I get a chance to speak to a podcaster or podcasters, I get very nervous. So I'll apologise in advance to all you lovely listeners if I'm coming across a very nervous guy. That's because I am. My name's David Davey A to everyone who knows me. I'm the host of a podcast called Davey A Talks, formerly known as I Give That 10 Minutes, which was like a comedic, nerdy podcast about video games, movies, pop culture, and everything in between. Rebranded as Davey A Talks because I wanted to try and tackle a few subjects that I'm not familiar with. Football being one of them. That's yet to come. I know nothing about football. But I'm also co-host of another podcast called Movies Across the Pods, where I host with my co-host Frank Mendoza from America. And we talk about films that one of us hasn't seen before. So we get a new perspective from both sides of the Atlantic about a film that one of us hasn't seen. And it's great to be part of 2 podcasts and feature on this one as a lovely guest where I don't have to do any of the work and I can just watch you guys get on with it. A nerdy gamer, collector, movie fan who's just into all manner of things. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Usual format of our guests, we'll go through some top 3s, and then the new twist, you will get ultimate power of what film we will be reviewing next. So we'll save that to the end.
Exciting.
Keep events going. But yeah, I thought that would make a nice little twist because you obviously could be really nice and give us a great film. Or you could be not so nice and give us a terrible film like Moulin Rouge.
Oh God, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Oh God, no.
I dare you. That's such a good film.
If you say so.
Let's go for your top 3 movie choices. Are you going to rank them in order? So you going to start us with 3, lead up to the best movie of all time?
This is really hard for me because I've seen that many films and I'm a passionate fan of a lot. So to get 3 greatest of all time has really been kind of a stretch for me. But this is tough. I would probably say, seeing as I've got to rank them, and I don't want to upset anyone who's a fan of these movies, however, my 3 choices are thus. Number 3 is John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Okay. I love this movie. It's got such a cult status and has infected a lot of video games, movies, pop culture throughout the years since it's been released. It was even the inspiration for Mortal Kombat. So it's influential and arguably one of Kurt Russell's greatest films. I know he's done plenty.
I've never heard of it, so I'm curious to know what it's about.
You've never heard of Big Trouble in Little China?
No.
It looks just like cheesy 80s vibe, right, doesn't it?
He's a truck driver who's just very he doesn't know anything about combat, and yet he seems to fall into the wrong situations at the wrong time. Lots of witty one-liners, as you expect from a great action movie in the 80s. We've got martial arts. We've got supernatural elements. We've got amazing looking characters. It's got Kim Cattrall in it as the love interest. Let's face it, who's not going to go to Kim Cattrall? You have wizards, ancient sorcery, black magic, monsters, magic, you name it, it's in there. And
Wasn't
it's
it kind
fantastic.
of directed as like a bit of a piss take? I heard like John Carpenter was like, I just want to do everything and just make it really just as fun as possible. But they kind of released it knowing that it was going to be a massive flop. And it did come out as a massive flop, but then it garnered a huge cult following later on.
The fact that it was, like you say, a cult status, when it got released on home video, DVD and so on, and everybody had access to it, it just got circled around the world, and everyone kind of became a lover of this movie, all the characters and the visuals. Like I say, influenced a lot of things, such as Mortal Kombat. Raiden, inspired by one of the characters, wears like a big kind of like an upturned basket for a hat, I suppose, where you could see through the lines of the mesh, wielding lightning from his hands. These are all things that influence combat and martial arts. Lots of kung fu in there, lots of witty kind of action, and special effects were great. It's all very John Carpenter kind of expected kind of vibes. The stuff that he's done, The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China. These are films that have a lot of interesting visuals and great special effects, just to name a couple of his films. And this one, arguably, well, certainly for my benefit anyway, is one of the best because it's funny and action-packed and has interesting characters. It's why I return to it time and time again.
It got demolished by Aliens at the box office, so it came out at a similar time, I guess.
Yes. It's you're not going to compete with Aliens, are you? Let's face it.
Yeah.
It's more of a kind of I would say family aimed, but it's not family aimed at all. There's a lot of content in that you don't want your kids to see. Knives going through heads and stuff like that. But it's done in a comedic fashion. And like I say, lots of witty one-liners. It's one of those films where if you don't like kung fu or comedy, it's not going to be for you. But I love it. I return to it year on year.
You still watch it and still enjoy it?
Always. I at least once, maybe twice a year, because I love the film so much. Again, it's definitely cult status, but for me, it's something I can return to and still enjoy and find little things that I've missed before, whether it be a certain character change or a part of a sequence I missed. It's I love it. It's one to recommend, definitely.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
What's your next one?
Number 2 is, now I'm a big passionate fan of this entire franchise, but this particular movie in question because it relates to the year of my birth. And that movie is Star Wars. Or for the modern generation, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
I wasn't going to ask. I was going to ask.
I know it had to get renamed because of the whole saga, the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy and so on. But back when I was a kid, it was Star Wars, it was Empire Strikes Back, and it was Return of the Jedi, and that was it.
What's the order?
It would be Empire, then Star Wars, then Jedi.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think because Empire stands out, not only is it a great movie and a great sequel, but it's one of those rare sequels where the bad guys get the win.
Oh, yeah, they leave. Yeah, the good guys leave with their tail between their legs, don't they?
You normally expect to know the bad guy kind of does his thing, he's going to kill someone or destroy the building or win. And then the good guys come at the end, sometimes with automatic weapons, and they win. But in this case, it's not an Andy McNabb movie. It's just a Star Wars movie. So yes, there's no automatic weapons as I mentioned. But however, the bad guys actually prevail this time. They've beaten the good guys, and the good guys have to run, like you say, with their tail between their legs and lick their wounds and come back next time. But I think as a sequel, it really does up the bar. All that kind of stuff that was set up in Star Wars, A New Hope, from 1977 when I was born. Oh God, it sets the tone for the entire franchise. The whole baseline of what these characters are about and the whole backstories of everyone. But Empire just gives you a lot more content and introduces people like Boba Fett and Lando Calrissian and the
kissing your sister.
Well, you want to brush past the incestuous side of Star Wars, but he did kiss his sister.
Different times.
I mean, I'd argue it's fine because it was just a peck. If he'd slipped the tongue in, we've got a whole different movie.
I'm just saying you couldn't see his hands. Trilogy ruined.
As the shrewd businesswoman of this podcast, I also have an issue with the HR department on the Death Star because I think, lightening your subordinates is kind of a whole big legal issue, I think.
There's got to be an office block in that entire Death Star where they've got the admin that deals with it. HR, complaints, someone who's dealing with the coffee machine. I don't know. But it can't just be as straightforward as he's just shot lightning at me and thrown me off this building. There must be something.
That's not on. That's not on.
There's got to be a lawyer
Repercussions.
involved. There has to be some sort of Empire lawyer. Perhaps
We've
with
got Darth Vader for disciplinary, sir. Disciplinary to Darth Vader.
You
Oh,
know
not
what? There's
Vader
no
again.
outcome. There's no outcome.
Oh, he's force choking me.
If you had Jedi powers, what's the most petty use that you'd use it for?
Probably like just making someone's pants fall down while they're walking past or something. Yeah.
Go
Or if
for
like a toddler's running about in a restaurant, you could be like, trip.
it. You would not have a toddler on the Death Star.
Oh, I'm on the Death Star in this
I would
situation.
presume you would be.
Oh, not in Wetherspoons.
No, this isn't the price you were looking for. No.
Yeah. Oh, it is quite reasonable though.
Do you think they should have a Wetherspoons on the Death Star? You know, when you want to wind up, you've had a busy day, blowing
Yeah.
up planets. It's been a long day. You want to get a cool pint at a reasonable price.
2 Vader bombs for a $5.
Oh my God, Vader bombs!
Sells
They
itself.
have to be a thing
Yeah,
now.
but there's no old carpet on the Death Star that they could.
They could get their own unique carpet.
And why is the loo always up 17 flights of stairs? What's going on?
Yeah, that's in the top of the Death Star. The Wetherspoons is at the bottom.
Oh my God, I just want to go now. I just want to go now.
Okay, so what, in your opinion, is the greatest film of all time? No pressure.
No pressure at all. It's arguably it is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's quite possibly the greatest sequel of all time, and up there is one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time. Again, in my opinion, lovely listeners, but for me, it's the fantastic Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I absolutely love this movie. Great movie that's still very watchable now, still relates in terms of visually stunning. The special effects that they used to create the likes of Robert Patrick's T-1000 were benchmark kind of effects that they produced for the film, and visually stunning. And again, one of those sequels where it topped the original. Now, I know you guys recently did a Terminator episode, and I know because I listened to it, and it was fantastic, by the way. But this was a great way to link the two together. I have a rather weird, but maybe not weird, but it's a funny little anecdote. When T2 came out, at the same time in the UK, we also had another T2 get released. And we are referring, of course, to the famous movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Now, when Terminator 2 came out, I went to see it. Well, I tried to go see it with my younger brothers and sisters, and we were not the right age. So we joined this queue for a local cinema, and most of the people going to watch Arnie and the gang were all clad in leather jackets, shades, holding fake guns, all eager to see Arnie in his best. And there was me and a few little boys and girls in this queue to ask for tickets for the other T2, please, because we're not old enough. I felt really embarrassed, but I did get to see it eventually and was just blown away, and I still am. It's just a fantastic film. Great characters, great set pieces, great visuals, great soundtrack. And again, it's like one of those sequels where it's better than the original, and it's a fantastic movie. It's still really watchable now. And I'd argue anyone who watches it not to enjoy themselves and want to get the win at the end.
How do you feel about the rest of the sequels in the franchise?
So it was lovely weather today, wasn't it? Bit of sunshine.
Mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, isn't it?
What I did like is when he went to the police station in the first movie, he was meant to say something like, I'm coming back or something, and he got told to change it to I'll be back, which I thought was weird because he's never really referred to himself as an I. Like, he knows he's a machine, he's in it. Why would he be saying I'll be back? But let's not dwell on it, because without that, we wouldn't have had Arnie's most famous catchphrase in all of his films ever.
Yeah,
So,
and it's so good, so iconic. Do you want to hear an absolutely disgusting fact about it?
if it's going to ruin this movie...
No,
for me,
it's
yes,
not
I
going to
will.
ruin it. It's going to be, you're going to be impressed.
Go on.
So Arnie only had X amount of lines in the film, yeah? But he got paid an absolute shit ton.
Of course.
So per word, how much do you think he got paid
Per word.
per word?
Is this Terminator or Terminator 2? Sorry.
Terminator 2.
Okay. Okay.
It's in the thousands.
It's in the thousands. Are we talking like, I don't know, $10,000 a word or something?
Going up.
$50,000 a word.
21,000.
I mean, come on, that's quite expensive, isn't it?
That's not
my
bad,
God.
is it?
So that scene when he shoots the guy in the knee and just says, he'll live, it's $42,000. We're in the wrong jobs, people.
Yeah.
Really are.
I
He
know.
wanted to extend that line to, he will live, he'll be okay. But they're like, no, Arnie, no.
The budget won't stretch. It will not stretch.
That's amazing. Wow. What a legend.
Yeah, and they used, the dream sequence where Sarah Connor imagines the bomb going off.
Yes.
They deemed it so realistic that the US military, they still use it today for like nuclear training, for like how the fallout will be.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, that's quite cool. Like James
That's
Cameron just permanently raising the bar.
I mean, that's concerning because I know for that sequence they used Linda Hamilton's twin sister, or not twin sister, but her sister who looks just like her.
Yeah, fantastic film, though. Good choices, I've got to say.
Thank you. It was hard because there's so many that I'm a big passionate fan of, but you know.
Yeah, it's hard to get the top three, but now we know. Now we know Terminator 2 is the best film of all time.
Of course.
If a Terminator was sent back to protect you, what life moment would it interrupt in the most awkward way?
Oh my God. What? I don't know if I should talk about something so personal.
I need the loo roll. And like, here you go.
I mean, there was a time when I was no, I can't really discuss that. It's very personal. But it would have been great if during my initial stages of discovering my body could do certain things that he would just pop up and go, "Don't do that. No, no, please cut this out. No,
you'll go blind."
It's a difficult one because I was a very late bloomer to a lot of things. I was late to go drinking. I was late to going out partying. So maybe he could just drag me out the house and go, for God's sake, go and have a life as a kid. You know, my first drink shouldn't have been at 23. It should have been at 18 or something. So get out and live your life.
Out the door at 15 with a crate of bud or something. Like,
oh my God, literally, that would be perfect. Drink those beers now.
Come with me if you want to get drunk.
Oh my God, that's it. That's what would change my life if you took me on an absolute bender of a session. Oh my God, we are going to Ibiza. I can't do his voice. I'm sorry, everyone. So yeah, I guess just making me more out there in the world. In my youth, I was too much of a shy, staying at home person. So yeah, he could have maybe been more outgoing and more excitable, I guess.
He could have been that weird uncle that takes you out drinking that shouldn't take you out drinking.
I like that. Well, he was referred to as Uncle Bob in Terminator 2, so yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle
I think
Bob.
it comes with the nerd territory, though, doesn't it? It's hard to get us out into the outdoors sometimes.
We like staying indoors where it's safe, you know.
Safe.
Yeah.
People are outside
in the dark.
Yes. In the dark.
Okay, so we're going to go on to Gim Gams now, I believe. So you're a bit of a gamer, you say?
I do try. I don't game as often as I'd like to, but when I do get a chance to, I do play from time to time.
More of a retro gamer, fair to say?
Yeah, I have an extensive collection of older consoles. Your NESs, your SNESs, your PSPs, your GameCubes, that kind of vibe. But yeah, I tend to game when I can, but it's nothing high end, nothing that's going to take me a long time to finish. And in most cases, unfortunately, haven't finished. There's many a game I don't know what happens at the end. Did Mario rescue the princess? I don't know. We never will.
It doesn't matter.
Is that because you're just like really busy and being a parent is just like time for you as a premium?
Yeah, I reckon if I was going to narrow down how much time I get to game, let's say per week, it's probably only about 2 hours a week, which on a game like, let's say Red Dead Redemption, for example, it's quite a big game. And all I've done so far is walk the guys out of the snow in the opening couple of hours. So again, will they survive? I don't know, because I've yet to go back on and find out.
They might die of old age.
Well, exactly. So I end up just playing, I don't know, I'll play GTA Online and drive the car for an hour and go away. Or I'll play a quick level on Sonic 2, or I'll put on maybe Streets of Rage and beat some guys up and then leave. Nothing too taxing. It's a shame because out of the maybe 300 games or so I've got there, I'll never know what happens in any of them unless I can devote some time to them. We will see. We will see. Okay.
So what is your number 3?
My number 3 is the fantastic Metal Gear Solid. Which
I'm assuming you're talking about the PlayStation 1.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm not talking Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm not talking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 4 Sons of the Patriots, or Phantom Pain, or any of those other ones. Just Metal Gear Solid. Or if you have it, Twin Snakes, the GameCube version, but they're very hard to come by and very expensive. So we'll stick to the original.
Very good.
Very good. Very good.
I loved it.
Ben will be upset because that's his favourite game of all time.
Yeah,
Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, rightly so. It's a great, great game. When it first came out, I was blown away by the whole kind of sneaking around and the stealth aspect of it. You're not just pointing and shooting someone. You have to sneak around. You have to stay hidden. These are aspects of gameplay that I wasn't used to. There was other games like Tenchu Stealth Assassins and stuff like that where you had to hide away in the shadows to become a great killer kind of thing. But for this game, for me, it really gave me a new perspective on how I can enjoy gaming. I don't have to rush through a level. I don't have to get to the end boss and get the best score. I could spend an hour hiding in snow or in a pipe or in a box, which we all know about in Metal Gear Solid, because the stealth is the main aspect of it. It's about sneaking in, not being caught, not being found, and being that spy type that we all would like to be as typical boys do. You know,
And the story was really involved, right? It was miles ahead of its time.
Yeah, really,
Like,
really
the
great
cutscenes
game.
were good. And not just like because it comes from a game from the 80s, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Back on the NES, yeah, Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because they used the artwork of Michael Biehn from Terminator in his Kyle Reese outfit.
Yes.
With the weird kind of headgear with the microphone to portray Solid Snake on the cover of the NES game. I love how games can rip off artwork from movies and get away with it.
Don't worry about it.
No one cares. No one cares.
Okay.
But yeah, I never actually got to play that game until years later when I rebought a NES. So I didn't know the base kind of character. Metal Gear Solid was my first introduction to Solid Snake and the rest of the characters.
Most people, to be fair, wasn't it? I don't know if you know this, but the game was destined to flop. Like,
oh, really?
Konami, yeah, they basically gave Hideo Kojima free reign because they were looking at it going, it's not going to really sell. Just do what you want. You know what I mean? Have fun, make your game. And obviously it boomed and it was absolutely huge, wasn't it? I mean, it's not just that game. It spawned, like you say, 4 or 5 sequels and spin-off games and yada, yada, yada.
It's an experience. It's a cinematic experience. You've not just got the action. You've got those cutscenes. You've got the characters building up the tension with back and forth on a like a I don't want to say walkie-talkie, a codec. Thank you for that. A walkie-talkie. My God, how he teaches that.
There were 2 cups and a bit of string.
Yes, that would work. I still use them now. They're great, except when you do like an Uber Eats, it doesn't work. But yeah, it's that whole you get to be a spy type, and as a typical bloke, or a kid, I should say, you want to be like the James Bond type. You want to sneak into an infiltration unit and take out the helicopter with a little weapon that you stick on the side of it and run away and fasten your tie up and have a witty one-liner. These are all great aspects of it. And again, visually, it looked great. Great characters, great nemesis, great bosses. And of course, the bit that confused everyone was when you met Psycho Mantis.
I was going to bring this up. How did it blow your mind?
Every single time. I thought the game was broken.
Yeah.
I almost sent it back 3 times because it wasn't working properly. It took me a while to figure out you had to change the controller to a different port so he could read your minds and you could confuse him.
He would basically be like, he would read games from a memory card.
Yes, he would.
Like, you've been playing Gran Turismo or something like that.
God.
And you're like, how does he know? And he would mimic your movement if he was in controller port 1 and you could never beat him. So you had to put the controller into port 2.
Wow, that is so 4D.
I know.
You don't get stuff like that now in games.
Don't even get a manual.
No.
I remember this was sort of fairly recently. I say recently, it's probably the last 10 or 15 years, but there was a game on the DS called Professor Layton.
Yes.
And there was one where there was a puzzle where the clue was in the manual. So you had to go back to the manual. I think it was either on the map or...
If you bought that pre-owned?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Where's the book? Where's the goddamn book? What am I supposed to do? God damn it.
CEX.
Talking about the cardboard box technique, can you think of any real-life example where you think that might work if you were in a cardboard box trying to sneak into somewhere?
There's been many a time when I've wanted to go to a certain bar or a restaurant and it's sold out. And I thought, well, if I just hide by the back door where they take the food in and just put kitchen or something on the side of the box, they'll carry me in and I can get access to some lovely food or a free drink or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a sneaky type like the characters on the game, but it's got to be for my benefit. I think it's always going to be food for me. If it gets me into a foodie place, then stick me in a cardboard box.
Gaslighting them. They'll be like, I swear this box has moved. Why?
It's so heavy all of a sudden. I'm sure that was an empty box.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, never mind that. Just take me in, please. Thank you. Again, to flip it on you guys, where would you like to be snuck in inside a box?
No, Sega HQ.
Oh.
What would you draw a little Sonic quickly on the outside of the box?
Yeah. But like really badly.
Nothing to see here. Just take the hedgehog back in where it belongs. It's okay.
Yeah.
Colouring in wrong or whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, so going on to your number 2.
My number 2 game. Well, this is really dear to me because as the oldest of 8 siblings, this was used a lot to settle a lot of differences in our household. And it is the mighty, global dominating Street Fighter 2. Now, there's so many variants of this game.
Yeah,
so
you took the words out my mouth.
So it doesn't really matter which one you choose. However, for me, I'm sticking to the original Street Fighter 2 with just the simple 8 characters and the 4 bosses you fight at the end that you can't play as. unless you had a secret code. However, this had a lot of impact on our lives. As I say, oldest of 8 kids. So when it came to hashing out any what's the word I'm thinking of? Disagreements or arguments, best way to do it, get a control pad.
Kick the shit out of each other.
Exactly. No one's getting hurt except maybe your thumb because of the amount of pressure you've got to do to get Chun-Li to a lightning kick or Blanket tennis lightning on. But so dear to me. We've had lots of fun playing this game. The characters are iconic, again, influential. So many spin-off games and crossovers into other games. You know, there was an SNK Capcom variant where they featured some of the characters crossing over.
Marvel
Capcom as well.
Monster Hunter has all loads of stuff from Street Fighter in there.
I mean, this comes at a time when we've just recently learned that there's going to be yet another live-action Street Fighter movie. Oh dear, you know,
it's got a big cast though.
It has got a big cast. However, do we need it? Do we need a live-action Street Fighter movie when the animated one is perfect? And we don't talk about the Jean-Claude Van Damme one.
The first one was amazing.
It was.
It was so terrible. It was brilliant.
I take it you haven't seen the Jean-Claude Van Damme Street Fighter 2 movie.
I have not.
You are going to have your mind blown when you see this movie.
I'm excited.
It's great in the fact that it's awful and that the characters do look similar to their video game counterparts, but oh my God, it's so bad you have to watch it.
Is it as bad as the original Mario movie?
Ooh. Now, I discussed this at length in one of my previous episodes. I think we rambled on it for about 2.5 hours because it was that bad. However, it is terrible, but I would say you'd have to see it to appreciate how bad it is. Watch it, enjoy your own opinion, but you will regret it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But the games, though, fantastic. Great playability, great characters, great visuals.
Who's your go-to?
It used to be Guile a lot. While he was a slower character, I found that his combinations were great to work with. But certainly of late, I'm focusing on Ken. There's something about throwing fireballs at people and jumping in the air and setting them on fire, which kind of appeals to me. And I'm not even an arsonist, but you know, setting people on fire.
Exactly what an arsonist would say.
Oh yeah, I'm not an alcoholic while I get my drink in my glass. Thank you very much. Cheers.
If you had to fight one Street Fighter character in a pub car park, who would you not want it to be?
See, this is a very loaded question because, as we all know with Street Fighter, you have those bonus levels where they have to beat up the car and smash it up. So I'd be distracted by the car. However, having smashed up the car and still had all this energy pent up, I reckon I'd probably want to take on something like Eddie Honda because he's quite big, but he's quite slow. So I feel like I might be able to get around him. And I'm not even a fast person, but I could certainly try it and maybe just distract him while he's throwing all these hands at me and maybe tickle him under the armpits. You wouldn't be expecting that, would you? Or finding out what's under that thing that he's wearing that looks like a kilt. That's not a kilt. Maybe Eddie Honda. No, because he's lightning fast. He's got a claw and he screams a bit too much for me. He's too hyperactive and jumping everywhere. I haven't got time for that. I'm getting into fighting pose and he's flipping there. Oh no, he's over there now. Oh, he's there. Right. Oh. Okay.
You just exhaust me.
Yeah, exactly.
I quit.
I'd be asleep.
You win.
Just take the win and go. I'm going to sleep like this car we smashed up together. Thank you.
I would give money to be crushed by Chun-Li's legs.
See, that's got to be a lot of people's fetishes out there. She has really powerful thighs.
Yeah.
What about his calves? Has he got excellent calves?
He?
Oh, she.
She.
Has she got excellent calves?
Chun-Li.
Calves, thighs. She's the whole package.
Right,
so she has this special move, which is like a lightning kick, and she basically, her leg goes really fast like the Flash. But it just destroys everything she kicks.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys gravitate towards that, I guess.
But you are right. It was a global phenomenon. The SNES version, especially, 6 million units, which is absurd for the time. And was Capcom's. I'm doing a little bit of a fact thing here because I'm a bit of a gamer. It was Capcom's biggest selling game for 20 years. It wasn't until Resident Evil 5 come out.
Wow,
which is not the game you want it to be. To be fair,
well, no, but I mean, it shows the sheer quality of Street Fighter to have that kind of longevity, and people now are obviously rediscovering it time and time again. It shows that you can have an arcade classic put to a console version and it be made well and just appeals to everyone. Well,
they still today have competitions with that game. Yeah. I mean, that just says it all. The game is 32, 33 years old, whatever, and they're still using it in competitions.
It's fantastic. I think because there's such a wide array of characters, you know, you've got your big brawlers, you've got your lightweight ones, you've got your people that have special abilities, people that are just thugs, people that are strong, people who can stretch their arms a long ways, like Mr. Fantastic. You have all these different aspects. So I think it's why it appeals to everyone, because you can come at it from a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh perspective, and still find a character that appeals to you, and you can use it to piece others up.
And your number one game?
My number one game, a more recent choice, something that I'm still trying to get through because, as I said earlier, I don't get a lot of game time. So a game like this one needs more time than I've been given it. But it is, of course, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This game for me has been a major focal point of my game time. Predominantly on my Xbox 360. That's where I play it mostly. Although I do have it for my Xbox One. And I think it's the remastered version. And I recently got Oblivion, the new remastered Oblivion.
Yeah, it got out last month.
It did, yes. But Skyrim for me has been one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had gaming, largely because it's an open world, largely because it's so vast. The amount of side missions alone will keep you entertained for many a week, many a year. In this case, it's been about 8 years I'm still playing it because I can't make a dent in it. But it's such a big game and I just love it. I didn't think I'd play such a game when I first discovered it. Not being the kind of fantasy RPG kind of gamer, this was not something that kind of I gravitated towards. But since I picked it up, it's been hard to put down. The sheer open spectrum of it, a vast array of characters, a vast array of weapons, so much backstory to certain characters, so many side quests, as I'd mentioned. There's never a chance to get bored with it. I always found that there's something else I've got to do. Maybe I haven't found that particular gem, or I haven't found that wizard's, cloak, or that particular artifact to finish this mission. There's so much to do in it, and it impacts me every time I play it because it's so visually stunning, and the score is great, the music's great. I just love it. I think Skyrim for me is one of the greatest things I've ever experienced in my entire gaming life.
See, everything he's saying, I've had that said to me so many times.
Yeah.
And on paper,
play it?
And on paper, I should love this game because I love fantasy RPGs where you can spend hours getting lost in a world. And I know it's got a great score and I know it's got great side quests and characters. I cannot, for the love of God, get on with the combat. I just cannot.
Yeah.
It is so PC jank, sideways, awkward. I just can't get on with it. And I know that on paper, I should love this game. I bought an Xbox 360 because of Oblivion. I was like, what one am I going to get? I'm going to get the PS3, I'm going to get the 360. And I bought a 360 and I got Oblivion and I got Rockstar Table Tennis. I played Oblivion for about 3 hours before I wanted to throw the Xbox out the window, and I stuck with Rockstar Table Tennis.
Wow.
I mean, you chose the tennis game over that. God. You realise I've sat here happily for like an hour or so and you dropped that bombshell.
I know. I just don't like it. I don't like games that try and bite off a piece of everything. I feel like Skyrim is a game that's jack of all trades, master of none.
Oh, wow. Really going in on this, aren't you?
Wow. I didn't know I was going to touch such a nerve. What I meant was my greatest game was Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, it's not.
I'm more of a Sonic guy myself.
You are.
Harry's rant of the week coming out, I think.
No, I get it.
I admit I did find a cheat for that particular game. It's during the early stages of the whole game. You get to a town and there's a loading screen when you go into the town so we can load up the next stage. But what you can do is when you go in, you kind of go up to the front of the gate and you jump over the castle walls, skipping the loading sequence, and you can actually come back under the lake that's behind the castle where it's full of treasure. And then you re-emerge out of the lake in the town and you can dump it all in your little house and you've got loads of riches and magic and tokens and whatnot. But it's a really difficult. You've got to kind of jump a few times until your character goes over the fence, which you're not supposed to do. And then you can find all these hidden treasures. Cheating doesn't always make things happen well, but I did it once and it worked. And my character was rich and I bought lots of things. So
what item would you hoard in unhealthy quantities like a true Skyrim player?
I mean, I don't want to be kind of stereotypical because I'm from Liverpool, but all the lockpicks would help because, it comes in handy to get things. I'm sorry. I'm not that bad. I would have said something like I'm hoarding all the gold or something. No, but I think all the magical elements, the really cool masks that get you to be stronger than you are or breathe in the water so you can just have unlimited swimming or have enough strength to carry huge sets of dragon scales that are really heavy. Why they are, I don't know. But yeah, it's more about the wealth aspect. So stuff that I can sell in the shops because it's about profiteering as much as adventuring. So yeah, either give me some lockpick, unlimited keys, or the ability to sneak around people's pockets and nick their gold, and I can sell it and make something really nice happen. There's so much to choose from in Skyrim. It's hard not to have a favorite thing that you want to have in there, because you can barter all kinds of lovely things in there.
Okay, fair enough.
Right.
So, upon gaming, you've been given the red pill, a 1-up mushroom, and the one ring to rule them all.
Oh,
You can use one, you can sell one, and one has to be destroyed.
okay. I'm gonna get rid of the extra life, because you only get one in this life, and there's no point trying to redo it all. Very
What
deep
about
and
if you get hit by a
meaningful.
bus? You'd be like,
Well,
that's funny, handy.
Yeah. But then you're going to come back and you're going to go back in this body. That's
Well,
just
the bus
pulverized
reverses
by a
over
bus.
you, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
what a waste of an extra life.
I knew it. So it's the one ring or it's the red pill.
So you're selling one.
I'm selling the pill because
Classic scouse.
I I
Set
fell
you
for
up there,
his
I'm
trap.
sorry.
I fell for it. Oh my God.
So I
No,
was
I
waiting for it.
I can't believe that I didn't. Oh, do you know, such a glutton for punishment. I'm such a gullible guy as well. But I would sell the pill. Don't quote me on that. And and I'd keep the one ring because it's a very precious item. It's something I don't own. And while I do love Lord of the Rings, I don't have any gold. Yes.
You could turn invisible and start stealing all that gold.
With your lockpicks.
With me lockpicks.
Lockpicks.
You just see this random set of keys floating over there, rattling away.
There's Davey.
The lockpicks.
Doing it again. He thinks we can't see him.
You've got to hide
Idiot.
the pics.
Don't mind me. It's just my keys. Oh dear. What have we done today?
So, on to your TV choices, your top 3 TV shows of all time. What's your number 3?
Okay, so it was a show that I discovered just a few years back. And if memory serves, at the time, I think it was on Netflix. I don't think it's actually on now because it's been a number of years since it was out. But it's a horror action series called The Strain, which
Sounds
is
like our marriage.
well. This
Gotta.
is not a therapy session, guys. Come on. So it kind of, while I'm not really a horror fan, and this is very much a horrific show, based on the fact that it's mostly vampiric in its nature. The creatures in it, they're not necessarily vampires, but there's a vampire style kind of vibe to it. And I don't normally go to shows like this, but there's something about these particular characters and the way it's portrayed on screen that had me hooked. It kind of reminds me of Blade 2. I don't know if you've seen Blade 2 at all.
Oh, I love Blade.
So
Blade 2 is brilliant. Oh, yeah.
that style of again, they're not vampires in it. They're kind of they've moved on. They've kind of progressed, and they have these kind of opening up mouths and things fly out and so on. It's that style kind of vampiric killer. It's not just your classic fangs and bite your neck. They're much more horrific and scary and spreading around the world and all because of the little worms that infect your body and turn you and make you change. But it all started out like a bit like X-Files. The pilot episode was kind of very X-Files-esque. People were in a state of like suspended animation or death on a plane, which had landed and no one could explain why. It just appeared a mysterious box with something inside that could be a contaminant. And then it just explodes from there into, I think, about 5 seasons. Very action-packed, very gory. I think it was penned by Guillermo del Toro, so it's got that kind of really horrific kind of Hellboy writer vibes. It's going to look visually stunning. It's got great action sequences and a great bunch of characters and a cool sword. What show doesn't have a cool sword? The guy's got this
When you
really...
was open with that, I was sold.
It was a great sword. He's an old... I think he's Romanian in it. And he's been fighting these vampires for years, and he's getting old and he's getting on, but he needs people to help him. But he has this cane, and it opens out. It's got like a big, like metallic, like fist on it, and it's got a really cool sword in it. So it kind of reminds me of Blades, even though he's not this axe wielding, backflip kicking, muscular guy. He's an old man with a stick, but he fights these vampire style people, and it just really gripped me. So yeah, it's definitely recommended if you like action and horror.
I'd never heard of it, so I had to have a little look, and yeah, it's quite well regarded. Quite on IMDb, I checked out some reviews and everyone loved it. And yeah, Del Toro was, I think he directed it as well.
Yeah, it's really good. Like I say, it's not something I wouldn't have gone to normally. Definitely worth considering if you want something different. If you're sick of watching these, lovey-dovey dramas or reality TV or wherever, try something that's a bit scary but a bit action-packed as well, and actually just grip you I found myself wanting to watch another episode after another to find out where the story was going. And it's those kind of series where they have a gripping storyline that I appeal to, because I want to know what's going to happen. I want to stay up an extra hour in the middle of the night to watch another episode because it's that gripping. So yeah, it's great storytelling and action-packed and a bit horrific as well.
Is it a modern thing?
Yeah, it's definitely set in like the modern age. It's not like an old show. I can't remember the exact year of release, but it was within the last 10 years. Yeah, really, really good to watch and great visuals, great effects, special effects and so on. But it's great how it twists. Like I said, it started a bit like X-Files or an X-Files investigation and then became something completely different, but really did grip me.
Do you have a vampire apocalypse-esque escape plan like we all do? Like, I think ours is that classic, let's go to the pub.
That's a great idea because I do love the pub, as most of us do. However, I have a real problem in that I'm heavily asthmatic, so I can't run. So I have a plan, and it's simply this. I'm going to wear a utility belt, a bit like what Batman would wear.
Right.
But around this utility belt would be a series of condiments and sauces. Because if they're going to catch me and eat me, they may as well have a choice, a bit of Tabasco, try some hot sauce.
Bit of barbecue sauce.
Yeah, you've got two zombies arguing. Do you want a bit of Dave's leg? Oh, it's a bit bland. Here, have some salt and pepper seasoning. I'll just have it all ready to go. So that's my plan, is just to give them at least a tasty meal.
Amazing. Okay, well, we won't wait for you at the pub then. You'll be like wheezing in a bush somewhere. Okay, on to your second choice.
My second choice is the comedic, nerdy sci-fi fest that is Spaced. I love the show. I discovered it by accident many years ago on Channel 4 during the early days of Simon Pegg's career. He was on this, and he was on a sketch show called Big Train with a lot of early kind of up-and-coming artists. But Spaced really stood out because it appealed to all the nerdiness within me. The video game references, the movie references, the TV shows, the fact that he's an aspiring comic book artist and he's struggling to find somewhere to live, and then he accidentally bumps into someone who lives with, and they've got strange neighbours upstairs and downstairs, and all these little crazy situations they get into. I find myself being drawn to it every time I watch it. It's a shame it only lasted for 2 seasons, but I think it's kind of ended at its height, at its peak, and it was good that it did that. It knew that it only needed 2 small seasons of, I think, 5 or 6 episodes. And then they got everything they wanted, so the characters could then move on with their lives, and you can fill in the blanks yourself. But all the references were kind of great. I know that the episode where Tim, who's Simon Pegg's character, was playing a Resident Evil game and he kept falling asleep. So he started visualizing zombies and sequences, and it inspired Shaun of the Dead, of course, because Edgar Wright was his friend during the producing Space and stuff. So kind of got a lot of influences for that. They had a lot of Jurassic Park references. Star Wars was in there because of Peter Serafinowicz, of course, who did the voice of Darth Maul. I'm sure they quoted it in there at some points because there was a lot of Phantom Menace slating.
I was going to say, were there any parallels between Simon Pegg's character and yourself? Because he has a lot of pent-up rage about episode 1, and Jar Jar Binks in particular.
I mean, I've never set anybody on fire and looked up into the sky, much like Tim does. But Phantom Menace is always going to be a hard one for me because just this very week, one of my sons has decided he wants to start his own Star Wars journey, and he wanted to start with Phantom Menace. Of course, I was furious, but I have to let him have his way. He's only a young lad, so he's allowed to watch it.
Settle it on Street Fighter.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
Right, he's too busy on Fortnite right now, so I can't really get him away from it. But Street Fighter will happen. However, when we were watching Phantom Menace, it brought all the memories back of when I won tickets to go and watch a midnight screening of it. So we queued up for hours to watch this show with lots of people dressed in character costumes, Vader, who wasn't even in it, and Jedi Knights and so on. And then, of course, we watched it and we all came out and we simply said, what the was that we just witnessed? It's a terrible movie, but one that I dare say needs to be seen to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, I guess. But yeah, I understand why Tim was so angry at it. He called a little boy a prick because he wants the Jar Jar Binks toy. And he was only a little kid, but he had to get his aggression out.
Isn't he like, I saved up all my 50p?
What a prick. So he says, just unbelievable. And he gets sacked because Bill Bailey,
isn't it?
By Bill Bailey, yeah, who's called Bilbo in it. You've got to let it go. Tim, Phantom Menace was years ago, and the kids love it. They love Jar Jar Binks. He sells loads of merchandise. Just embrace it. Yeah, it's a great one to watch if you like that nerdy side of your life.
I think as well, it kind of relates to that. Your early 20s and you're probably in a house share and you're kind of bumming it up and having your best life. And they really captured that. It's just a brilliant show. Not many people had really watched it. Like you say, it was his very early career. And Nick Frost obviously is his best friend, isn't he? And I don't know the name of the guy. He's also in Friday Night Dinner.
Oh,
the weird Brian.
Brian, who lives downstairs, who's the artist who...
The artist.
Yeah.
Knocks himself out on the floor. And they think, oh, look at that art. This Scott. What a visionary. And he's just literally so dead on the floor.
But yeah, when they have flashbacks of him doing his artwork, when they say, what do you do? And he says, I do pain. And he's kind of picking himself, screaming. And then I do humour. And he's laughing while he's got a paintbrush in his hand. All these kind of weird, witty flashbacks. So funny. So funny.
Which character do you relate to most in the house share? I
reckon, ironically, possibly Daisy. She's a bit out there. Likes to tell a lot of BS to people to try and make herself sound cool. Not that all I say is BS. However, she likes to travel a lot, but she's never travelled that far. I know when she claimed she
went somewhere once.
She went somewhere like Hong Kong or somewhere, but for like a day or something. But it changed her life dramatically. She came back as this big, like, wanting to be a big author, can't write anything. She's got a lack of creativity, even though she says that she's a great creative person. She spends hours typing on a typewriter, and then you look at the page and she's written one word, and only like a minute's passed, but you get the impression like 5 hours has gone by and just 1 minute's gone on the clock. I'm the same. I get many blank spots when I try to create something, whether it be a podcast or writing something or drawing. I don't get anywhere, and I'm so focused on it, but it never comes out. And I'm always trying to get money to go out. So, I'm always asking, can you give us a cheeky fiver or something? Can't hurt.
That won't go far nowadays.
God, no.
Have you ever watched The Big Bang Theory?
I have, on and off, various episodes, various seasons. I've not watched an entire series. There's only slight similarities there in the fact that it's a bunch of friends who all share similar nerdy passions. But space does it a lot better because you have all those cutaways, those flashbacks, and more British isms, which I can relate to more. Big Bang Theory is its own entity, but I get why it's considered a kind of parallel loosely to Spaced.
Well, that was going to be my question, because we're not big fans of The Big Bang Theory, but we love space. And I don't know whether it's because it's the British version, so we relate to it more, or whether their love for nerdy culture is so apparent in everything they're doing in it. Whereas in The Big Bang Theory, it feels more like, a parody of a nerd, if that makes sense. I think with anything American, it's one of those things where they try to do it bigger and better than the original. There's been a lot of stuff that we've sent over to the US that they've tried to remake or reboot, and it hasn't always worked. Your third and best TV show of all time.
My third and best TV show. I love this. It's a British staple. It's a comedy classic. It's Northern. Not that I've got anything against the South at all, because I love the South, but it's the iconic, fantastic Phoenix Nights, helmed, of course, by the mighty Peter Kay and Paddy McGuinness, Neil Fitzmaurice, and many others. I love this comedy. Love it. 2 series of epically great Northern comedy set around an old gentleman's working club and the stuff that ensues when all these different people turn up with hilarious consequences. Love it. Great one-liners, great impactful characters, and it's still funny now as it was back then. And I just think it's one that everybody needs to see if you can take the Northern accents, because it's set kind of Leeds, Manchester kind of ways. So there's lots of A-ups and whatnot, but it's a great show and very kind of slapsticky. So yeah, what's not to love?
I mean, I've seen this again years ago. I think I was about 16, when I watched this, and I really enjoyed it. But it shocked me when I found out it's only 2 seasons. It's only 12 episodes. It
was based on a series of 6 episodes from a show called That Peter Kay Thing, which was part of Peter Kay's early career, and they were all kind of mockumentaries. One was about an ice cream man, one was about a bingo hall, and one was about a nightclub ran by characters that you see in the Phoenix Night show. So it was kind of a direct spin-off from there, but they padded it out with more sequences and better characters and so on. But yeah, only 2 seasons. There was a Max and Paddy spin-off after it, but it didn't really go down that well. Because
they have 2 seasons as well?
Just the one. But Phoenix Night itself, it's just hilarious. I mean, you've got a broken down nightclub that are using the Snowman soundtrack to keep the old dears happy because they've got no CD player. You've got builders who are trying to set up the club on the day of opening, but they've got road supplies in the club. Traffic cones, flashing lights. Why? They're meant to be painting and decorating. I don't get it. You've got an inflatable castle that turns up, but it's actually got a giant cock and balls on it. but a family fun day. You know, it's all these little things. It just makes it hilarious, and I absolutely love it.
How often do you watch it still?
Oh my God. Well, I went and ordered the script book because I'm that passionate about it, so I can sit there like the nerd that I am, reading the lines out as they're portrayed on the screen. So that's sad. But I'd say probably once a month, or maybe once every couple of months, just to give it a bit of a break. Because while I do love it, I do like to appreciate other things that are out there, not just a club in Bolton. There are other things in life. But
it's a comfort blanket.
It is. I know where I am with Phoenix Nights. I know exactly where in Bolton I am. I know what the character's going to get up to. I know what hilarious sequences are going to come next.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, it's a well-written show. It's very focused on an evening with the family round the TV. It's nothing too offensive, just a bit of blue, a bit of slapstick, people falling over, people who get into a bit of a mishap, but it works out in the end. And that typical Peter Kay style comedy woven through.
So then I have to ask you, if you had to run a themed night at Phoenix Club, what would it be?
Oh, this is a good one. It's a good question. And I wasn't prepared for it. So that's going to be difficult. I mean, with all this kind of nerdy talk, it would be easy to say something like, let's have a Skyrim night or an RPG night or something like, or a fantasy night. But I would like to maybe do one of those like American things where they have those like medieval kind of nights with the king and the queen and the jester and the big turkey legs that you can eat straight away and the big steins of beer. I think something like that, something like an old medieval kind of banquet.
That would be fun.
With a jester or two and someone in the stocks that we can throw rotten fruit at, that kind of thing.
Oh, that would be good, yeah.
Yeah. Ben, we found a role for you.
You're going to get pelted.
Just make sure the rotten fruit is taken out of the tins first, because it's going to hurt like hell otherwise.
Love it.
Very quickly, which cancelled TV show do you think deserves a comeback? Or what TV show do you think pushed it too far and should have quit whilst it was ahead? Either or.
I would like to see a comeback, and it's a show that I loved as a kid. I only got one season, and it was basically, you've seen the show or heard the show Knight Rider.
Yep.
But imagine it was a motorbike. I'm referring to Street Hawk, a show that had one season, and it was a cop on a motorbike that could go 300 miles an hour. God, I don't know how he could do it. I don't know. There's traffic, but it was essentially Knight Rider for a bike. And it only got one season. And the guy who played the main character is Rex Smith, who also played Daredevil in a TV Incredible Hulk episode. Deserves another season because that bike was so cool and I loved it. And I just wish it got a second season. It never did. Nerd.
We'll write in. We'll make it happen.
Yeah,
more Street Hawk, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess it's time to ask you if you're going to be naughty or nice.
Okay.
I feel nervous.
Please don't feel nervous. Okay, this choice is comedic and action-packed and a spoof movie. The movie is Spaceballs. I mean, I do love Spaceballs. I recently discovered it a few days ago and forgot how funny it was, just because of how many things it parodies in the sci-fi world. So,
Jam the radar.
Oh my God, it's Raspberry as well. Oh my God. It's so good. We're literally saying all the best lines before it's even been watched.
Very good.
We've only ever done one spoof film review and it didn't go so well. So fingers crossed for Spaceballs.
Oh, you're going to have a great time, I'm sure.
Thank you, Davey.
So we're going to go with Spaceballs.
We're going with Spaceballs.
Okay. And that's it for this week's Nerds Against Normality. Thanks for hanging with us. Catch all of our latest episodes every Wednesdays, wherever you get your podcasts from. Please follow, rate, like us on social media for more exclusive content. If you have a question, something you want us to review, or a great story from your week, please email us at nanpodcast@outlook.com. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Take care.